Okay. I'm just gonna wait a little bit and we'll get started. Okay, this is gonna be a pretty brief glitchless guide for the game. I'm not gonna go like super in depth into stuff, but I want there to be some sort of resource for this, just because there's literally nothing for glitchless. Um, so I'll go over every level briefly, a couple backups, a couple easy stuff. And I'm using a practice ROM in this guide here. Well, just in general, I use this to practice. So this is, like, you see it shows X subpixels, Y subpixels. And most importantly, in the bottom left there, you see those numbers that are changing. It shows spin dash speed. So 800 is the highest speed you can get. I love one of my other lines. There you go, that's a perfect spin dash. So, just before I actually go over any level, I'll go over some general basics for this game. The general way you move around in this game, the fastest way for the most part, is spin dashing. So, you have 3 jump buttons, and you can use them all to rev up your spin dash when you hold down by pressing them consecutively. So the most common way to spin dash in this game is a technique called the piano roll, where you just put 3 fingers over 3 buttons and you press them consecutively twice. You do 3 taps, what they're called, and you do a 6 tap, and that is the fastest way to spin dash. In certain situations, you might want a 1 tap or 3 tap or 4 tap or whatever, but it really depends on the level. Another pretty crucial thing in this game is slope jumping. When you're on a slope, if you jump at a specific point, you will gain a burst of speed. Generally, roll jumping is faster than doing a regular jump off a slope. Also, oh no, I didn't get subpixeled. Generally, roll jumping is faster, where you roll just before you jump. But some situations you will want to do just a regular jump. It really depends on the level and section you're in. So yeah, basically, when you slope jump, you just gain more momentum. And also, when you're on the ground, if you want to maintain your momentum, you want to hold right, because if you roll on a down slope, you will gain speed. If you roll on an up slope or on flat ground, you will lose speed. That's how momentum and speed work. What else is there? I guess I'll talk about cycles quickly. There's 3 types of cycles in this game. There are global cycles, An example of which would be, let me think. For example, these platforms at the beginning of Aquatic Ruin 2. These aren't really used for glitchless, but these platforms here, up there, these are on a global cycle. If I wait a little bit before spin dashing, you'll see they'll be in a different spot. See, they're not in like the middle there. They're like already swinging back to the other side. The second type is a camera cycle where, or it's like a when you're in the vicinity. It's not really when the camera's actually focused. So these crushers in Mystic Cave, when you get a certain distance away from them, they will start. As you can see, even if I wait a while here, this crusher will still be at the same spot when I get here. And the last type is a power on cycle. There's only 2 instances that I know of in this game that have power on cycles. The first, and really the only important one, is let me get to it. So these platforms that appear in Ring Fortress, these are on a power on cycle, so when you turn on the game. The other instance, and this is probably a cool trivia fact for most people, is these, so these platforms here, these disappearing ones, are actually on a global cycle, or on a power on cycle. It's something just pretty cool, but it's not really important. It's just kind of there. As far as I know, these are the only 2 instances of power on cycles. Although I might be like forgetting something, I'm not sure. In glitchless, generally, the only cycles that are really or just in this game in general, the only cycles that are really important are the camera cycles. And then global cycles are not really that important because there's only a couple instances where global cycles are important. And is there anything else that's really important? Oh yeah, one probably most importantly is this game has a speed cap. Specifically an aerial speed cap where if you go in the air and you're holding the direction you're going and you are going above the speed cap, you will just stop and begin going at the running speed cap. If you're on the ground, this doesn't happen, which is good. There's a couple ways that you can avoid this. The first is doing a neutral jump. So, well, in this case, I'm too fast, but a strat here in Chemical 1, for example. As you can see, if I do a neutral jump, I won't slow down, and I can jump over that monitor. The second way is by doing a roll jump, because in this game there is something called a control lock when you roll jump, where you lose control of Sonic if you are rolling in a jumping state. Let me do like a jump up. As you can see, I'm holding left, but Sonic isn't really slowing down. He's not facing the left. That's because I'm locked in the state I'm in at the moment. Outside of that, there's not really that much like super fundamental stuff, and I'll just begin going over the levels, I guess. Emerald Till 1, you want to do a 6-tap, and depending on what time you want, you can do 2 different things here. The first and more easy one is you just roll, jump up here, and do another 6-tap. And then the second one is you can jump up onto this platform right here and do a 6-tap from here. Don't do that. After you release the 6-tap, you need to hold down again, because otherwise you'll get stopped by this monitor. You have to release down and hold down again. When you're at this bridge, you also want to hold down, because if you don't, you'll get hit by the fish. Roll here, and then from here you can just kind of jump over here, hold right, and do a full jump up here, and then a tap jump over these spikes to hit the monitor. Alternatively, you can do a slightly faster strat where you stop here, where you stop here and you do a 4-tap spin dash. You 4-tap here and you jump on this upslope onto the monitor. This is pretty advanced, so if you're not looking to go for like a 19, you don't really need to worry about this. After you hit this monitor, regardless of what you do, you want to hold right and you want to roll kind of around here at the beginning of this upslope to hit the monitor. It's something you kind of have to get a feel for, like you don't really pause for this, but you hit the monitor and you want to look for where you hit the monitor. So here I'm hitting the monitor at the very left side. In that case, I can just hold right here and not worry about too much. I even got the 4th bounce there. Sometimes, not like that, say like that. You will hit the middle or the right side. I think this won't work here. Yeah, so if you see you hit the monitor slightly further to the right, you want to do like a quick left to right to slow down so you can hit that monitor. Because if you don't, you'll just kind of, well, go like this and not hit the monitor. So quick left to right, hit the monitor. If you don't get a bounce on both of these buzz bombers here, this one and then that one, when you want to hold right, and when you get to the spring, you want to do a left to right so you don't bonk the swap. Because if I just hold right, I bonk. So you want to left to right like that. But yeah, generally, once you get a feel for this, you'll be hitting the monitor on the left side. As you can see here, I missed the last buzz bomber, so I have to do a left to right. And then at this loop, you can do a loop jump and jump over the spring to get to the end of the level. If you do the 4-tap jump onto the monitor and the spin dash off this platform, you will get a 19 if you do everything fast. Otherwise, you'll get a 20. And then just some basic backups as well. So let's say you... let me think here. I gotta remember how this works. So let's say you go over this monitor on accident. Hold right and hit this fish, and then slow down in midair, so that you can do a slope jump off of this. And you want to slow down enough so that you get a high jump off this slope here. So that's a low jump, so you need to slow down more. And if you get that, you will land here and you can do the level as normal. This is a pretty good backup to have. And as you will still get a 19 or a 20 with this regardless, like depending on which strat you do. If you do the 19 strat, you'll get a 19. If you do the 20 strat, you'll get a 20. So that's essentially it for Emerald 1. There's not too much else. So let's move on to this level. There's a couple routes for this, but I'll only really go over the 2 main ones. So being a level 6 tap and make sure to hold down on this bridge, because if you don't, you'll sometimes get hit depending on your spin. See, I get hit there and I die. So you want to hold down and jump at the edge of this bridge to jump up here. When you hit this monitor, do a 1-tap spin dash and hold right to get the speed shoes. Here you want to go for a jump. This is a 2-framer or a frame perfect. It kind of depends. Sometimes it's a 2-framer, sometimes it's frame perfect. You can't really control it. But you're jumping around this general location. And you'll know you got when you jump up very high like that. When you get this jump, you want to go neutral for a little bit or tap left briefly to slow down. I prefer to go neutral, but you can tap left. It's really whatever works for you. Make sure you hold A so that you bounce on this monkey, because if you slow down too much and you're not holding A, sometimes you can get stopped. It's pretty rare, but it can happen. Like that, you get stopped. So make sure you hold A to guarantee bouncing over this. And from here, oh, and if you miss this for whatever reason, like let's say you get that, just jump on the spring and go up. It doesn't really matter. Alternatively, if you don't want to do this jump, you can do a jump like around. I don't remember exactly where it is, but you can jump somewhere around here. I apologize, I haven't done this in a while. You jump before this flower, and you can go down here and take this route instead. This is like a second slower than getting the jump. If you do go up here, just jump on this flat ground, tap jump, and you'll get over that spring. When you approach this spring here, make sure to release right, because sometimes if you don't release right, you'll get stuck holding against the wall. I don't actually know why it happens, but probably something to do with like object RAM. And release right, go up, and then hold right again. This is where the route diversion begins, the main one. There's the invincibility route, which I'll go over first quickly. So you want to jump after this bridge, tap jump, and roll down this. Kill this monkey, jump up on here, and do a jump up this slope, which allows you to then hit that monitor. And there's a bit of a faster way you can do this, but I haven't done this route in ages, so I apologize. If you do a specific height of a jump, you can jump on that. You can bounce on that boss bomber, and you can just run to the end of the level. The invincibility is good because it makes the boss basically free. You just walk inside of him. But this is slower though. If you want the faster route, which makes the boss a little harder. The boss isn't that difficult though. It's not that bad. Jump at the edge of this bridge. Kill this monkey. Slow down. Make sure you tap left, or you hold left briefly. So you slow down, and then roll, and hold right. So it looks kind of something like this. And run here. Slow down somewhere around here, and jump when you're in this pit. You can see there's kind of like a little pit. You jump and hold right, and then roll through this monitor. After you get through here, you want to jump on this slope to get to the boss arena. Now, for the invincibility boss, you literally just walk inside of him. It's not anything crazy. Also, I apologize if the bitrate's bad. That's my bad. If you are fighting this boss without the invincibility, this is how you do it. So wait until he kind of gets inside of his car like this, and then start holding left. And I like to roll around this flower roughly. Here, you can either do this completely by feel, this next jump, or there's an audio cue if you have the music on. I don't have it on now, and I kind of can't be bothered to turn it on, to be honest. But there is a little audio cue you can use with the music. But I generally just do this by feel anyways. Kind of, as he's about to go off, I jump. And you hit yourself, and Tails gets 2 hits. When you land, you want to face to the right, and you want to do spin dash. After this hit, you release the spin dash after a certain point. This is all by feel. You'll eventually get good at it, you just need to practice it. So it looks kind of something like this. For this capsule, jump away from the edge of the screen because you will have a harder time hitting the capsule if you don't. And when the screen starts moving, you want to move and jump. I once again use an audio cue for this jump, but you don't really need one. You just kind of do it by feel. Once like, say this flower is partially on screen, you jump and hold right, and you'll hit the capsule or something. This one right here, this flower is partially on screen. Jump, hold right, and you'll hit the capsule. And with the bottom right, you should be getting like a 36, 35. Top, the mid route with invincibility, you'll be getting like 38, 37. Both routes are fine. I prefer this one. For Chem 1, well, I'll go over. Wait, there's not that much to go over in this level. You start with a 6-tap, stop and do another 6-tap there, and you want to do 2 slope jumps. If you're not going for a 20, you don't need to worry about these slope jumps because, or for the early cycle, you don't need to worry about these slope jumps because sometimes, if you're unlucky, you can get subpixeled on this slope when you do this jump. So if you're not going for a 20, don't worry about it too much. But yeah, do 2 slope jumps and then do another slope jump at the bottom of the slope. You can do one at the top, but it's actually a little slower generally. So yeah, you do the slope jump, and if you're going for the early cycle, at the top of this loop, you want to jump downwards, and jump when you're on this flat ground, neutral jump, and speed cap when you're like a little bit behind this monitor to hit the speed booster. If you're not going for early cycle, you just run down and do a speed cap jump like this, and roll to this monitor. It doesn't matter too much though. Don't hold right there, jump. And then do a slope jump here. And jump on this upslope here like this. It's not a very long jump. It's kind of like, it's not really a tap jump either. It's like you kind of like do a small jump, but not super small. Just kind of something you get a feel for. If you're going for early cycle, this is the most important jump in the level, because if you do this like, if you jump like here really early, it'll take longer for you to get up. And if you jump too high, well, or like too late, you won't make it. So this jump's very important. I'm failing. Dude, okay, come on. There we go. When you jump, when you hit this block, you want to slow down a bit. Just brief left, right, because if you don't, you'll hit this wall. If you're not doing this, if you're doing the speed cap, do this jump, and you can wait here. When this block starts moving, you want to jump onto it and jump up. If you do it this way, you'll be getting like a 22-23, but it's not that big of a deal. You can do 2 slope jumps here. It doesn't matter that much, but I like to do them. And then this jump here, this is the biggest jump. This is the big skip of this level, I guess. You want to jump when you're on this little upslope here. It's kind of hard to see it, but you jump here. Depending on where you jump. So if you jump later, you can you want to kind of release your jump when you're at a certain height. If you jump earlier, you can usually just kind of hold right, or you'll bonk the wall. It really depends, but you want to generally try to jump a bit later. And then you get here, 6-tap and hold right, and you are at the end of the level. Chem 2, pretty simple level overall. You want to 3-tap at the start. Wait for Tails to get to where you are though, because if you 3-tap too early, sometimes he'll jump, which ruins the trick. Like that. So wait until he heads up to you and then 3-tap. Hold right, hit this badnik here. Roll. Jump into this wall. And then hold right here. Around... where do I actually jump here? I gotta think about this. When you're on this, I guess, flat ground, here, this like vertical wall, you can full jump and hold left into this wall, and then just hold left against this door, and the door will open. There's Tails manipulation here for this door to open. Alternatively, you can do like a tap jump here or something at the top. It doesn't really matter. Either one works. The door will still open. Walk into this and get to where this like yellow slope is, because if you don't touch this, the path swapper won't activate. I'll show you what that means in a second. So you want to touch this, and then you can spin dash down here. If you don't do that, if you just walk in like this, you won't go down. So make sure you touch that slope. Here, don't hold right, you want to hold down. If you hold right, you can speed cap here sometimes. I don't actually know why it happens, but sometimes you'll get speed capped, depending, I think it's on your subpixels. So just hold down to prevent that, and then hold right up this slope. Get into the second gap here, and when the block is coming down, spin dash into this booster. Don't speed cap, so don't hold right here, because if you hold right, you will speed cap. So just do this. Hold right through this loop, and when you're, this jump's, once again, something you have to get a feel for. You want to jump, and you want to speed cap at a certain point, where you hold right in order to, kind of hit it like this. Another way you can do it is you can hold left and jump. This is how I used to do it, but I've switched to speed capping. Hit this boost pad and do a slope jump there. This gives you a bit of extra speed. And just hold right until you get to this spring here, and just go neutral from this point. And then when you land here, you can do two things. You can either just do a regular jump when you land, or you can do a roll jump, which is slightly faster. But the roll jump is pretty tricky. It's like usually like a 1 or 2 frame window to jump, so you got to be careful with that. And then run and slow down, and jump into this boss, and just count 8 hits. And on the 8th hit, well, I can't count apparently. You hold left to get safety. And that's the level. Air 1. This level's pretty straightforward as well. Most of these levels are straightforward for glitchless. 6 tap, jump around this like flat, kind of like flat place after the pillar. And you'll jump over the pillar. Stop and spin dash. Here there's 2 things you can do actually. The first thing, you can just spin dash, go through this loop, and then tap jump to go through here. Or you can go on top of the loop. It's a little harder. But you can 6 tap up here, jump, stop, and 6 tap. And then you want to pause here, because depending on your subpixels, one of 2 things can happen. You can either get something like this, where you fall down, in which case you have to speed cap to go through the tunnel, or you can get something like this where you go on top of the log. You kind of have to pause for this because it's very difficult to react to this without pausing. You can do either one, it doesn't really matter. This saves about a second over going through it. But regardless, you want to get up here. 6 tap. And you can do the slope jump for a bit of extra speed. If you do a perfect spin dash here, if you get an 800, you'll actually just go over this. And this is actually a little slower, believe it or not. This is one of the rare instances where a perfect spin dash is slow. But yeah, you can do this little slope jump here. It saves a bit of time. And there's a super secret strat here where you can jump into this little pillar ceiling here. And this saves even more time. For this section here, you want to roll until you are about to touch this piece of ground after this gap. And you want to do a very small tap jump. Very small. And roll into this monitor. After you hit the wall, don't jump out immediately. You want to go neutral for a little bit and then jump out. Because if you jump too early, you will do a control locked roll. That you'll lose your speed shoes essentially, because you'll land back in the water. So you want to wait a little bit before jumping, and then jump out. Here, there's 2 more strats you can do. You can either jump up here onto this platform, tap jump, and jump onto this bug here to get up here, or you can jump over this and jump on this upslope. There's a frame perfect jump you can do on this first upslope. It's frame perfect, so I wouldn't recommend going for this. Or you can jump on this upslope and slow down briefly. Because if you don't slow down, you will hit this pillar. So you want to slow down. And then at the end, you can do a slow jump on here. This is also frame perfect, but generally it's worth going for because it can save. It can be the difference between a 21 and a 20 in a lot of situations. You can get a 19 in this stage, glitchless, but it's pretty difficult. You need really good spin dashes. AR2, pretty simple stage as well. There's two ways you can do this beginning. The first is you can 3-tap once, and then do another 3-tap here. I believe this is how you do it. Let's see if I'm correct. Yes. That's the first way you can do it. I don't know how much faster this is. Oh yeah, you can also do a little slow jump here. It speeds you up quite a bit. Alternatively, you can 6-tap and tap left in midair. If you get a perfect spin dash, you'll actually go over this pillar, so you have to tap left to make sure that doesn't happen. Hold right, jump into the shark, and into this spring. If you're doing this specific method, I wouldn't recommend doing this with the 3-tap because you can get sub-pixeled sometimes by the spring. If you're doing this, you can do a frame perfect jump on the slope that gives you the. Just be careful, because if you don't hit this platform, you can get sub-pixeled on this slope sometimes with this jump. So you want to tap left before you land. And you can jump up here. Once you jump up here, don't full jump here. You want to just do like a little medium jump, I guess. Once you're up here, wait for these arrows to get to you and jump. Now you're looking at the back of Sonic's foot. If you look here, there's 2 pixels here where you don't see any grass. Actually, is my cursor showing? I don't think my cursor's showing. There's 2 little pixels here that you can see where there's no grass right there, these 2. If the back of Sonic's foot is inside these 2 pixels, you can do a 2-tap spin dash. And I got sub-pixel. That's fantastic. Let me get a different state here. Okay, same pixel. You see I'm in between in that little space. Do a 2-tap, and you'll go up. Generally, it's very rare for you to get sub-pixeled. It's like 1 in 10, maybe, if that. And then you can just roll, do a slow jump there, and jump out. If you're not in between these 2 pixels, you want to. Well, let me face right actually. So as you can see, I'm a pixel. Oh wait, no, actually that would work as well. This should be a 2-tap as well. Yep, this will work. Well, I'm actually getting these 2 pixels for once. So as you can see, I'm very far to the left. Here you want a 1-tap. If you're not in between these 2 pixels, the general rule is you 1-tap, and you'll get one of 2 outcomes. First is this, where you get a low launch, in which case you have to hold right before you want to hold right when you're near the top. Don't hold right early, because if you do, you will cap and not get up. And then jump up here, 6-tap, and jump out. You can also get a high launch. I'm gotta see if I can get this to work though. Nope, that's not high. You can get something like this. You'll hit this wall, in which case you just want to speed cap and go in there. And then the rest of the level is the same from here. You want to jump into the spring, run to the end level, get on this pillar, and you want to spin dash to kill the boss. And you'll generally get like a 40 with this. 40, 41. You can get a 39, but it's pretty difficult. If you don't get coin flip, this strat, if you don't get coin flip, I'm just gonna purposely not do it. But if you won't, actually no, I gotta mess it up. Hold right, stop, and 6-tap. Jump up, 6-tap, jump up, and then do a 1-tap here, and tap left before you hit the spring briefly. Sometimes if you don't tap left, these bugs can hit you like that, so you want to tap left to slow down. And then just do the level as normal. Finish the level as normal. Casino 1. This level, there's actually quite a bit to go over. There's a bunch of different things you can do to optimize, but the beginning of the level, you can do a 6-tap and tap jump on this flat ground to land beside the monitor. If you're not comfortable with that, just do a 3-tap, and I think you use full jump. No, you also like do like a tap jump. 3-tap's easier, but it's a bit slower. Regardless, when you land here, you want to 3-tap through this monitor and jump to get over, and then jump again. Here you can roll down or jump, it doesn't matter. I jump, because that's what I prefer to do. It literally does not matter. But the important thing is you need to get this invincibility. And then you want to, when Sonic is like aligned with this like little square in the ground here, this square, you want to jump onto the spring and go neutral until he's like a little bit under the spring. And then you can, well, this is failing, but you want to slow down a bit. So like, how do I explain this? You start holding right. When you hit the ceiling, you let go of right for a bit, for like a brief second, and then you hold right again to land on this flipper. I'm not doing this very well. And then you fling yourself up like this. Don't hold right away, or actually start holding right, and then let go of right for a bit, and then hold right again. It's kind of like, it's pretty difficult to explain, but something, once again, you got to get a feel for. There's a way to optimize this, but this is 100% requires pausing. If you pause on this specific frame, you can hold right, and you'll get this bounce off this bumper. Here, you want to briefly tap left, and then hold right again, and you'll bounce up here. But this is pretty wonky because, depending on how you do this, you might not land on these green blocks. It's very hard to do this with pausing. But you'll land up here, and you can just full jump from here. So this gives you a nice little jump through this section. You don't need to worry about like bonking. And this is like a second faster. This is like a pretty big time save. It's like a full second. I wouldn't recommend going for this though. This is like kind of dumb to go for in general. It's like absurdly difficult for what it is. But regardless, so you land on this flipper, you flip up. If you get like a small flip like this upwards, you want to actually just hold right the whole way. Otherwise, you won't make it. And there's 2 ways to do this. You can full jump here, slow down and hold right, or you can do a medium jump and just hold right. I got a really good jump there. Usually it's not that good. Usually you'll hit something like that. But if you do a good jump, you can just not hit anything and just kind of get something like this. When you're on this flat ground, you want to full jump, but not too early. Because if you jump too early, you'll bump the ceiling, as you just saw. And then you want to jump on this downslope. Depending on how you do this jump, you might hit this monitor. And if you do hit the monitor, you just want to hold the jump on to bounce. And then full jump here. If you don't hit the monitor, like let's say, well, I have a, yeah, like let's say you get something like this. You don't jump very high. You can just jump on this monitor. You want to piano roll this, by the way, this jump. Generally, you want to get into the habit of piano rolling all your jumps because it minimizes the chance of input drops. This one you want to piano roll because your input can get dropped here on this monitor. It's quite common. Not getting it here, but it can happen, so you want to piano roll. And you'll hit this, and you'll land at the same spot. Here you want to jump on these monitors as well. And this is probably the hardest part of the level. You don't have to do it this way. This is just something I recommend everyone does because you don't really lose much time if you fail it. Or you don't really lose any time. But if you get it, you will save time. You want to slow down here, jump, and hold right to jump over this bumper. Slow yourself down, and then you want to start moving to the right. You want to move to the right and kind of fall in between this bumper and this flipper. It's very tricky. If you get it correctly, you'll save a full second. This will be a 26, but you can get a 25. If you do, you get a 25 if you do the frame perfect thing in the middle of the level that I showed. If you miss it, you like get something like this where you don't hit it cleanly, you'll get like a 27 or 28 generally. If you don't want to do this though, you can just jump over this guy here. Or no, sorry, you have invincibility, so you can just run through him and fall. If you have speed shoes, you gotta be careful because you can like overshoot this, and you can fall through like that and still get like a 27. I just personally recommend doing the jump because even though it's pretty difficult, you don't really lose time if you miss it. Casino 2. 3 tap and jump to gain control of Sonic again. And then you want to jump into the spring and roll. And you can get up here. And then jump down and hit this monitor. You can do a little bit of a faster effect here where you jump and you hold your jump to get a really high bounce. But this is, if you don't jump very high, this is pretty tricky. Also, you need to have some rightward momentum before bouncing. So make sure if you want to go for this, you practice it. If you don't do that, you just bounce and jump here. Head to the right. Jump over that block. And then here you want to jump, slow yourself down to do a left-right. And hit this monitor. If you're playing glitch, you don't need to get this monitor, but for glitchless, you definitely want to. Head to the right. Here you want to left-right into the ceiling, but once you're off the wall, not when you're on the wall. Don't do it on the wall. And when this checkpoint comes into view, you want to hold left and hold right to get into this flipper, like bonk it, and get up here. Wow, I'm failing this miserably. There's an easier strat where you jump into this this slope here and you can just get right in. But if you want to be fast, you want to just directly jump into this. It's pretty tricky though. Don't hold this spring for very long because if you hold it for a while, you don't need to hold it for very long to get up. It's a very short hold. Jump on this block and roll down this flipper. And then break these hamburgers, these bumpers, whatever. After you break this, you want to roll here and hold right. I don't actually know when you need to hold right if you're playing this glitchless, because there's a specific strat you can do for glitch that's different, which lets you just hold right away. But you hold right somewhere, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe like... I see what it is. So you don't want to hold left all the way into the wall. You want to hold left. You want to just like briefly hold left so you start falling. And then you want to hold right when you start rolling. And you'll get this little bounce off the bumpers into here. If you don't have speed shoes, like if you run out of speed shoes, you can just do a 3 tap and hold right. I have speed shoes right now, but you'll just go over this like triangle bumper into here and jump up like this. But that's if you don't have speed shoes. here, make sure you hold right into this wall before you do this next thing. You don't have to do this to save the like 2 seconds. Jump up here and do a 3 tap and roll. And you want to do a frame perfect jump on this frame here. And you can go through this loop without needing to do the spring. This is not a glitch. This is completely fine to do in runs. This is allowed. And if you don't get it, you just use the spring and go. And it's the same thing. Here, when you're over this green bumper, you want the speed cap, and then you want to hold left a little bit, and then you want to hold right, and you'll fall down here. And then you want to get to the boss room. Spin dash, jump into the ceiling, and get down here. Here, you want to 1 tap, and you want to hit the boss. This is important to hit him right away because his first invincibility after his first hit is longer. And then you want to hold left and jump once you're like past this red line. You want to full jump or tap jump. Tap jump's a little riskier. You kind of gotta get a feel for it. And then you want to get all the rest of the hits. I can't really give any suggestions for this. You kind of have to get a feel for how to do this yourself. There's not much I can really say. There is a bit of an easier strat though, where you can jump onto this bumper and get the hits like this. This is a little more of a beginner strat, I would say, but it's totally fine to do. It doesn't lose much time at all. So if you're not comfortable with doing this with the jump, you can just use the bumper instead. It's perfectly fine. And then you jump on the capsule. Once again, all these capsules are kind of something you just have to get a feel for. You can get like a 54 in this level, 54, 55, with all the optimal strats. Okay, I probably won't go over every level because my throat's kind of hurting a little bit. And talking isn't helping much, but I'll go over like Hilltop, maybe Mystic Cave, and then I'll do the rest later. Or actually, maybe we'll just go over everything. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Hilltop 1 is one of the harder levels in this run, in my opinion, for glitchless. The way I do it personally is the beginning, I 1 tap, jump up here, and then I go 6 tap. And you want to tap left so that you don't hit this bad neck. I got a really slow spin dash there, but if you have a faster spin dash, you might need to hold left a little longer. You kind of have to be able to tell. It's something you get a feel for. Roll and jump at the edge of this ground here to get up over this pit. The other way you do this is you do it like this. This is not faster, but it doesn't miss the cycle that we're going for at the beginning here. But I prefer to do it this way because it gives much more leeway, so that if you get sub-pixel on a slope coming up, you can still make the cycle, even then. It gives more leeway. Jump on the seesaw, and then jump once you're on this, like, middle point here. Well, actually, you don't even need to. Just don't jump right away, because you won't make it up. Just jump up here, tap jump over this rock, and full jump here. And then 6 tap. So here, once you're in the middle of the slope, like around where this tree is, you want to hold left. And you'll get up here. If you did, there's another way you can do this. You can jump into this little, like, bridge here, like this. Just make sure to go neutral before you tap it, because otherwise you'll move to the right, and this will mess up everything. And you can do a 3 tap, and it's the same thing, basically. But you can't hold left on the slope, otherwise you won't make it up. So you gotta be a bit more careful. I do it with the 6 tap, though. So I hold left here. And you want to jump over here and 5. Oh, not like that. Like that. So this cycle is kind of tight, but sometimes you can be too early for it, and that's also bad because then you won't make it onto this ground. It's the this little platform here, this rising one that we're talking about. And this 5-tap, this is a tricky one. You do want to do a 5-tap. You can do this with a 4-tap, but it usually makes this jump frame perfect. So I wouldn't recommend it. This upcoming jump. So here you want to jump like in between these two like it's kind of hard to explain, but you're kind of like aligned with this second tree here almost, and you want to jump up here and damage boost this one. Once you're here, you can go up here and go on the spring. And if you don't make it up, well, okay, let me. Let's say you miss this jump, you can just land on here. Hopefully you don't land like that, because then you have to wait an extra cycle of this seesaw. Let me just like demonstrate. Yeah, so you got something like this. Not like that though. I got a high bounce there because I jumped from the top. There we go. You get something like that. And you go up here, and then you go. For glitchless, you want to spin dash on this platform. You want to try to spin dash and then hold right. When you land, the spin dash will initiate, and you want to tap left before you land because if you don't, you won't be able to jump over these spikes here most of the time, depending on your spin dash speed. Sometimes you will be able to, sometimes you won't. And I just prefer to tap left to negate that. You can run up here and break through this. And here, there's a bit of a, like, this strat is pretty difficult. I wouldn't recommend anyone does this. I don't even do this, but you can, the fastest way to do this is after you land, you want to briefly tap right and then tap left and then go neutral so that you're aligned with this right wall. Then you can do a 3-tap, or wait, is it a 1-tap or a 3-tap? Yeah, it's a 3-tap, and you land on the seesaw, and you can just go down like this. This is the fastest way to do it. If you don't do it this way, you can just hold left, jump onto this, and then jump like that. This is a little tap jump here. And then you full jump off of this seesaw. And then you go down here. And you want to ideally land in a way that you either break this rock or land to the right of the rock. And then you can just spin dash over here. When you're here, don't hold right away. You want to, because if you do, you go in here. You want to hold right when you're like about, like nearing the top. Stop, slow down, and 6-tap into this tunnel with a jump so that you have control of Sonic. Stop here, jump, and then when when the wall goes up a certain amount, you can jump when you're inside this little pit here. There's another way you can do this. I don't actually know how you do this correctly, but you can like do 2 jumps like this or something. I'm not 100% sure about this one, so I can't really explain it to you, but Joey does something like this. Jump up here, and you want to jump inside this pit onto this rock. This jump's pretty tricky, but you can get pretty consistent at it. and then stop here, spin dash, and jump to the ceiling. And hold right to maintain your speed. You'll damage boost, and then you just want to step again through this tunnel. And then, I mean, if you're playing pauseless, you just want to hold right here, because sometimes what can happen, let's see if I can get the subpixels for it. You can get something like this where you'll go up higher, and the general strat for this is to speed cap around here. If you do this pauseless, you'll be trying to delay your speed cap, and sometimes if you do this where you well, that's even worse, but wow, I cannot get this to work. Come on, I just had it. Man, I can't get it. But okay, basically, when you get this bad subpixels, you have to hold right basically right away, otherwise you won't make it onto this loop. So if you're playing pauseless, you want to just speed cap right away. But if you are pausing, then you can speed cap like this and pause to see which subpixels you get. Land here, and then you want to 6 tap to the end of the level. This level you can get like a 43, 42 is the fastest roughly you can get. But you want to aim for like 46 or lower generally, at least. Hilltop 2, this level, you're aiming for like a 55 generally, but yeah. So 1 tap and jump at the start of the level to get up here. Don't jump right away though, otherwise you won't jump up. You kind of want to delay your jump. You'll jump up here, and then 6 tap, and jump on this second upslope. And then you want to 6 tap and jump on this upslope as well. Roll through this monitor and hit the spring. And then tap left a couple times to hit this spring. From here, you want to jump on this monitor and tap and hold right for a bit, and then stop on this ground here, and you can do one of 2 things. The way I do this section is I 3 tap, hold left in midair for a little bit, or like tap it, and then jump over this orbinaut. Or you can do it with the 2 tap and jump at the edge here as well, and hold right onto this ground. I personally find the 2 tap a little more difficult, but it's up to you what you want to use. They're the exact same speed because you're trying to make a cycle here at the rising lava section. Jump up here and then jump on this ground, and you can just hold right. Jump here and then jump onto this platform, and you'll make there's a faster cycle you can make, but it's not really worth going for, especially in glitchless where it's much more difficult to make. Jump up here and up here, and then wait a bit for this platform to come down. You'll be able to jump up here with fuel, like when you need to do it after a bit of practice. Do a 1 tap and jump up here. This jump's a little tricky when you first start, but it's pretty doable after a while. Slow down a bit, do a medium jump here, and then jump up. If you're not comfortable with this, like this spin dashing stuff, you can just jump up here and bounce on this monitor to get up. It's not that much slower, but the spin dash isn't too bad, so if you can, I'd recommend going for that. And then you want to jump up here. 6 tap, jump into the ceiling and roll. And you want to jump on the spring here. If you can't jump on the spring, or if you're worried about, like, sometimes if you jump early you'll bonk, you can just do like if you jump a little earlier you'll bonk. You can just do like a tap jump as well, and that also works actually, because you'll jump over the rock. This is a bit slower though. Regardless, jump over this monitor. Wow, nice. I got a really fast spin dash here, so If you see you're really fast, you can also slow down and it makes this jump on the spring a lot easier. That's what I'd recommend doing if you see you're going really fast. Hold right here, and then you want to release for a little bit and kind of like land beside this rock, but not too close to it. Do a tap jump, and once you like go a little past the spring, you want to just go neutral, and you'll land on this platform. This jump is not actually that difficult. It looks really crazy, like a blind fall. You were falling so deep down and down this cave, but it's not that bad with some practice. You collect the string and you just go neutral, essentially. When you land, you want to jump immediately. Jump up here. You can run over this gap. Jump, jump, jump. Just basically a bunch of jumps. On this spring, you want to maneuver yourself in a way where you don't hit this wall, but you also do not hit the ceiling. It's a little finicky, but it's pretty doable. Land on the spring, and 6 tap to the end. And then roll onto this block. If tail is here, he can sometimes screw you up, so make sure to just hold right as you roll, after you roll, in order to keep tails in position, so that he doesn't jump early. And then hit the capsule. And that's hilltop 2. My throat's kind of hurting, so I'm probably gonna stop for now. But I might, if I feel better later, I might do the rest today, or I might do it another day, maybe tomorrow or something. Hopefully this helps with the first like half of the game.